Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Valen, and this is StoneBlock 3. Today, I think I need to try and recover. The previous episode, I'm sure you saw, I had a harrowing experience at the end of this tunnel, which is changed, by the way. I have lifted up the previous really fun run pads, and instead I now have just a tunnel's path that I just click a few times, and I can get all the way to the end and back, and even all the way over here to the mob farm, which, by the way, the problem I was having is this ender inhibitor was active. Does not let me actually teleport unless it's off. I have been doing a little bit of chicken stuff. Not too much. I did rearrange it. If you want to see, I've got back here, instead of everything connected together in one giant mess, it just goes down into the bottom compacting drawer. And I don't even need to connect it to the main one, the controller, because it automatically is connected to all this stuff. For instance, if I grab this, you can see that it currently has, oh, I didn't realize that it would do that. Oh, with things that I did not anticipate. There we go. Okay, so as you can tell, I had moved a couple of them around because I didn't like it. I'm glad that I did, because now I have access to those things. Also, last episode, I think I ended up covering the storage scanner, which was a bit confusing because I had a lot of stuff going everywhere and I could put things into places I didn't want. So I had made one of these a locking tool, which is the same as the card that I just had over there, except when I click on things, it locks it, and it puts this little locking mechanism. So even if I take the last one, it'll leave a 0, as you notice here, in that place. So it's a placeholder, and it won't fill those unless there's something that it can actually be put in. Now manually I can click in there, but if I try and put things back in with the scanner, it won't go into a locked cabinet. It'll only go into things like these. I've got a whole bunch of crystal chests. This is going to be my main storage for now that I'm more or less using everywhere. And because the scanner only has a 20 block range, it only goes up to about here. So I moved over things into this corner and this corner so that I still would have access to those. I could pull from these, but as I don't have void upgrades, the items aren't going to go back in. Also, I set some stuff up here for today's episode. I've got a whole slew of things. I started looking around in the pack and seeing what different things I could progress with and where I wanted to go next, because I was starting to run a little bit dry. And after last episode's embarrassment of fighting those guys, I mean, I'm wearing some pretty decent stuff. I've got some okay weaponry. I thought that I would do better, but no, there are skilled mobs over there, and they spawn in mass quantities, so I need to be a bit more epic in my gear. So I figured we'd go into Mechanism without going into Mechanism. That would be making a refined Obsidian paxel. This does 17 attack damage by itself, and that's before it accepts any enchantments. I don't even know if it accepts something like sharpness, but we can find out later on. For now, it's a matter of how do we make refined obsidian. Well, this is Mechanism stuff, and usually you have to go through a lot of Mechanism things. In time, I may, but I'm going to take a different route because this mod pack is set up so that you can. So looking at some of the ingredients on how to make these, refined obsidian ingots can be made if you scroll far enough. Here we go. You can make it in a couple ways. Oh, daggone, it looks like those endermen still pop up on occasion down here, but at least it's reduced to their quantity. But you can pour some osmium over refined obsidian dust. Again, I need Mechanism machines to create that. But you can straight up make molten refined obsidian. If you click on this Alloying Tinker's Construct tab, you can see osmium, diamonds, and obsidian will make molten refined obsidian. Then I can pour it out in cast form in an ingot shape or block if I really want to. So there is a catch with this recipe, and it's not just the ingredients, because I currently have an osmium chicken. I have diamonds that I can easily get, and just by pouring some water and lava into this, I get obsidian very simply. It's the fact that it requires a high temperature in order to make, which means blazing blood. And if you look at blazing blood, it's made from blazes being melted in the smeltery, or their heads. But also, if you notice just above it, there's blaze rod chickens. Well, guess what else I bred up? Blaze rod chickens. So I've got this hopper here down below that is just more or less feeding into this place. I ran out of seeds, or for what I had in here, that's what was up here. If I put like, let's grab these seeds, put them in place, you can see it just automatically fills in here, and then they start breeding, and it goes in here. But I figured I'd make some, or attempt to make some simple automation to put them in place. But I haven't tested this yet. I want to know if I can just straight up click here. No, okay, I can't do that. That's worth knowing. But anyway, and I thought maybe for an automation for this might be fun, because as much as I can just grab a bunch of these and just kind of run up the side here and click on the edge and drop them down in there to melt to make the blaze juice. But instead, I figured maybe we'd try and make it so I could just have it happen automatically, or at least while I have some kind of lever. And I think I know what we can do here, and it's going to require a deployer from Create, which is an electron tube, an andesite casing I've made in previous episodes. Brass hand is just going to be some brass sheets, andesite alloy, all made together. That's pretty simple stuff. In fact, I think I might be able to just make this here. Make one. There we go. Perfect. So the idea here is that I'm going to have a deployer on the outside of this, being powered by probably simple rotational power of some sort, reaching through the glass and hopefully placing a chicken. I haven't tested it. I don't know if it'll work, but I figured it would be a fun experiment and we could give it a go. Something I do really enjoy right now is the fact that I have automatically repairing sandpaper. Usually this would only last a few tries, like maybe... Oh, durability of 8. There you go. But as I've got that, was it the repair talisman? I can make this one piece of sandpaper last pretty much forever. So let's try making one of these deployers. All right, that's a good thing. And I'm thinking I might just make this kind of go underneath here, like feed from this barrel into the deployer. We'll see how that goes. I'm also going to want a couple of redstone links just so I can shut this on and off remotely. I don't know if I have these or not. It is much simpler to actually make this stuff now with this system in place. There we go. We now have 2 redstone links. In fact, I'll put the polished quartz away as well. And I can put this next to something that requires redstone or not and allow it to access it that way. Figure we'll use that later on, just not at the moment. So I guess I can try putting this in place here, and that actually does not aim in the right direction. I have my wrench, but I don't think that I still have access to the right side of this that I'm going to need. So let's go over here and rotate. There we go. It's now aiming upwards. As I have a hand crank, we can then just test this and see if it'll even work as is. Do I have a hopper? I don't, but I know where I can get one temporarily. I'm not too worried about it right now. Is right there because I've got so many of these things. So I put this here and I put one of these blaze rod chickens in. Boop, it automatically feeds into that. Excellent. Oh, and hey, would you look? I put water over here for a water source, just so I could have access to water source blocks for when I'm making lava or something. I think we might be able to use that for the power generation on this as well. Actually, why don't we just go ahead and do that? I don't want to do the manual hand crank because I can't see if it works or not. I'll just end up doing it and hearing something happen. So let's try working with this. There we go, 1 water wheel, and in fact I think I've already got the beginnings of a setup here for it, so I just need to mine this out a little bit more. There we go. That works. In fact, I'm really happy about that. That worked a lot better already than I thought it would. The best thing that I could find was to actually get these to 10, 10, 10. That way they would stack in stacks of 16, because if you notice, as I was growing these up, I had different quantities so that they didn't all stack properly. But if you get 10, 10, 10s, then you don't need to worry about it as much. Plus, they're going to be that much faster. Take the hopper out, I can put that in place, and then I can put all these back in here. So by taking this into here and then making it so that this stuff actually comes out, I don't think that it's working properly because it's... yeah, the chickens aren't quite making it in, are they? So let's try another experiment. I still have my hand crank, I also still have a hopper. So let's grab some, or one. Oh, I've got plenty in my inventory. I don't know what I'm doing here. Put one of these in here so that is now in its hand. And if I hand crank this, nope, the chicken just falls down. So when placing entities, apparently that's not an option. Get back here. All is not lost. I have another idea, and that is to put this up here and have it just placed downwards. First I need to rotate it. There we go. And now if I have a hopper or just some kind of inventory item going into that, automatically holds it, and then when I press the button, it places the chicken. There we go. There we go. That worked. And we now have blazing blood as well as Valen blood in here. So let me just get a pipe up to this then. I really wanted it to be able to go through the wall. I know that these things can place things through walls, but I guess when it's an entity egg, it does kind of catch on something. So let's see about putting a clutch on the end of this so that I can turn this on and off a little bit simpler. Just by putting a lever on here, I can then turn it on and off very simply. Okay, and now to have some kind of gear setup going down to this. And I think my normal setup is probably going to be just like this. I just put in some seeds, it'll automatically go into the hopper, which then goes into the deployer and feeds into here. But as I have such a backlog of blaze rod chickens in here, I think I'm going to use a temporary measure to get these out into this system. And that is just going to use pipes, because I really can't be bothered with having having this work again where I make a big mess by bursting that chest. I want it this way. There we go. So now things will automatically go into the deployer hand, which I think, yep, it has blaze chickens in there. And I don't want this going fast. This is why I have it going on the wrong side of the wheel. It's only pressing in one area. I want it to go really slow. It does not need to be fast at all, because I don't want to overflow everything in here too quickly. So then I just need some way of shutting it off. And I could do multiple other ways of doing this, but this just seems the most fun to me, because I love seeing the little gear shifts going on. And that should do it. That's automatically going to be placing chickens very slowly over time in here. And then I'm going to be getting the blazing blood from that. And if I want to stop it, I should just be able to do that. Yep, and it stops. Excellent. What I do need to do, though, is get this blood out of here. It's a little bit of Valen blood. Just by pouring it into an empty one here, it should make a regular slime ball. It'll be a bloody one, but coagulated blood. Yep, there it is. Oopsie. So you can see the blazing blood is forming in here, as well as other drops. I'll have to just throw those out over time. It would seem that my magnet has priority over it going into this smeltery, so maybe I could use an item collector instead. Here we go, a basic item collector can pick up items up to 5 blocks away. I got this as some kind of reward or drop from a chest. I don't remember. There's so many things that you can get this way. But I figure if I can put this in this corner and maybe add it to chests or something, that would work. Putting down this and then putting a basic item collector on it. That looks like it'll collect everything within that range, so we'll see. It collected the items. Excellent. So then I don't need to worry about the stuff clogging up in here at all. And in fact, I might be able to just throw it out. There we go. And then everything's going into this instead of plugging up my smeltery. Oh, even better. Really liking that. All right, so my automatic chicken chucker is working pretty good. Now I need to be able to get some of the blazing blood out of this system and poured into a seared fuel gauge. Probably best if I actually break some of these and use them, but if I have some already made, I might do that. There we go. Blazing blood. Not that it's very much, but hopefully it's enough that it'll work. There we go. I switched it around from the side, from this side over to this side, and I think it prioritizes this side first. So it now says blazing blood, 400 millibuckets, even though I've got more in the system already. But I think with the molten obsidian and other items, I just need to find out what was it. It was osmium and diamonds. Okay, So we're going to try a trial run to begin with 1 diamond, 1 osmium, and see what we get with a bunch of molten obsidian in there, which these are obsidian panes already. And look at that molten refined obsidian, 1 ingot's worth, and then I can pour that out here and make my first ingot. There it is. Mechanism without mechanism. Lovely. And that did use up a bit of the blazing blood. So what I might do is actually turn that water wheel facing the right direction, speed things up so that we can get a whole bunch of blazing blood in here, making it a little bit simpler to power this thing up in the future. So I've got another idea here on how I can further automate this a little bit easier, at least for the moment. And that is so that I can store some of this blazing blood without having to constantly come over here and keep clicking on this. Now the fact that I have the molten obsidian in there is kind of annoying in this case, because once it runs out then it'll try pouring the obsidian, but I could always just use this in that case too. For now, if I put this here, then I should be able to pour into this the blazing blood that's currently in there. But that doesn't mean that it's going to go into the system that I need it to go into. So again, that means I'm going to have to put some kind of pipes down here, but instead of regular pipes this time, I'm going to be using some of the pipes mod fluid pipe, which I think should be pretty easy to make actually. That's pretty easy stuff right there. Okay, so then if I put a piece here going into the fuel, here coming from where it's being poured into, and then I use my little pipe wrench, it should automatically do it once I get this to pour. Oh, look at that. It goes right into one. It goes from one into the other. Beautiful. And then there's, oh, but it kept on pouring. Well, I guess I'm going to finish with the molten obsidian for now. I can always pour that back into the drain later on. So as there's no obsidian left in here, the only thing that's going to go in here is going to be blazing blood, which is currently being fed back into the smelter itself as a fuel source. Right behind here, you can see it's starting to fill up. So because I turned a lever on here, so this will constantly stay on. Meantime, I also have a seared fuel gauge full of just liquid obsidian, which I can then put back into this when I'm done and ready. So there you have it, a simple automation using some simple mods. I mean, well, they can get quite complex. I currently have an item collector going on. I've got this seared faucet mixed with some pipes mods, as well as some create things. I guess it is a lot of different options available here. And once we get through this backlog, I've got a few extra blaze rod chickens. In fact, I'm going to keep some as backup as well, that I can put in place of this barrel and then just have them automatically lay or breed into that specific spot. And I think now is a really good time to take advantage of another mod that I have shown earlier, and that is the muffler mod. Let's see, chicken step hurt. Let's mute that. Death. We'll mute that. Oh, so much better. Now I don't need to hear them suffering for my fuel source. And while that's working on that, I figured I'll work on some other projects. And then I'll eventually be able to make a refined obsidian paxel. Then I can put away my cleaver, my sword, my pick, my axe, and my hammer. I might still keep the hammer for now, but I have plans to replace that as well. In fact, I'm thinking long term, and something that is not as practical, but still takes me through a lot of fun mods. And that is the immersive engineering mining drill. This drills equally fast through any kinds of soft ground as well as stone. And I figured, or stone types and ores, and I figured, why not? I should make one of these. But it's fueled by biodiesel. It's not an electric recharge system. And that will require an immersive engineering refinery, because the biodiesel is only made through that method. Or at least as far as I can tell. It needs seed or plant oil plus bioethanol or ethanol in a refinery, plus some kind of saltpeter or nitrate dust to make biodiesel. Yeah, it's a bit of a journey to go on for this, but I figured it's kind of fun because plant oil I can make with a multi-servo press from thermal, and then just any kind of industrial hemp seeds would work fine, and I've got botany pots for that. I can even increase the production for that if I really need to. And then bioethanol can be made with create in a mixing solution with biomass and sugar. Then biomass is going to be made through, looks like a heated solution with some seed oil plant oil, which I'll be making with the previous solution. And of course, there's also the steel parts that I'll be needing. And instead of going the route of immersive engineering, because I've already going to have some immersive engineering heavy machinery as it is, I figure I'm going to go a different route for making the steel. And that's an induction smelter from thermal. We're going to need some coke in order to make that, which is going to be made with a pyrolyzer from coal. Yeah, all sorts of crazy stuff. So this is probably going to be the next several episodes for making of this. But once I've got myself all suited up and re-enchanted and my new paxel, I may have another go out there at basically taking on mobs if I don't get too carried away with like setting things up, because I'm thinking this is going to be my immersive engineering area, or not that, but all the machines that I'm going to need in order to do so. In fact, I also have another idea how I can better power things like my storage scanner, which has been keeping up just fine, but on occasion I need to put in a bucket of lava. Well, how best to take care of this than with an automatic solution? And it looks like I don't need those redstone links after all, or at least not at the moment. So remember when I was first making this setup for my inventory system, I looked at the coal generator and how simple that was to make? Well, that's pretty much what I'm going to be making again, is that, because I figure this thing can power my system and I can use a coal chicken for that. There we go, one coal generator. So then this just needs to be touching the storage scanner and it should work just fine. So if I put this here, then I just need to have some kind of item pipe connection going on. I should only need one piece, and that's going to be here. Then I'll need another roost, put this there, and then I need a new coal chicken. By putting this coal chicken in here, it should automatically start producing coal, which is of course what I'm looking for. And then I just need to get down here to take out from that inventory. Then I simply am powering this entire setup with coal. There it is, repowered, all good to go. And I don't need to worry about adding lava anymore. It's pretty much chicken powered. Oh, and before I go back into those caverns, I was thinking there is one other thing. I am going to get into some Ars Nouveau, probably just so that I can insta-break spawners with magics at the very least, if not have a better ranged alternative. Also, I was told by somebody in the comments, thank you by the way, there is a special way that you can automatically refill the Petal Apothecary now, instead of some really complex method using Botania. If you're just using Botania, you instead just need 2 buckets of water and some stairs, or just 2 buckets of water. And there you go. That's pretty much it. This thing automatically refills itself now. So I just wanted to show that it's a thing in more recent versions of Botania, and it's absolutely fantastic. I love the choice that they did to add that in, making it a lot simpler and friendlier. Just realized I still have this seared fuel gauge, so let's grab that. I think that just got picked up by the system, but I don't mind that at all. There we go. I can put this in place, and then when the time comes, I can just have this being piped using pipes into the seared drain, and it should be good. I can put the chickens inside, and I just need a way of getting seeds in there. And then any outputs that come out of this automatically can go into here, but again, because I broke the block above, I need to have that grabbing from inside, and it won't grab these ones, it'll only grab from the output. And as I think I'd like that to actually hold off for a little bit, I'm going to turn that off for now so that I can start making some of my refined obsidian here. So again, we'll go here to there, and then I just need it to take from this location. Yep, and there it goes right back into the system. Oh, that's so nice. Okay, so I think I've got this sorted out now. I'll just put in equal amounts of diamonds and osmium, and that should get me the blocks that I'm going to be needing for making the refined obsidian. There it goes, combining, and we've got 1 block that should pour out here of the refined obsidian. And I think that gets me at least a decent amount of refined obsidian items. Let's see about making a paxel. It requires a shovel, a pick, and an axe. All those combined should make the refined obsidian paxel. Nice. And I have 30 leftover ingots. And I think, yep, I can just straight up make regular armor with this. And already have much better defenses. If you look, like here, plus 8 armor, plus 2 toughness. This is plus 12 armor, 5 toughness, and knockback resistance. And it's pretty much the same with all of these pieces of armor. So let's get rid of these. And you can see that, yeah, my armor rating is definitely much fuller. I can also enchant these too, so I might just go do that. Not to mention I now have this this refined obsidian paxel, which seems to work all right, as well as it has self-repair options with that tool belt item that I have. So with my 70 levels and a bit of lapis, I think, let's just take all that out of there. I'm going to be spending a little time trying to enchant stuff. Okay, already efficiency, unbreaking, fortune 3. That sounds perfect for a pick. I don't know if this will accept things like sharpness, so I might start getting some books as well. We'll see how things go. Well, it looks like this is more of a tool than anything else. Sharpness does not seem to be an option for it, but still, it does 17 attack damage by itself. I think that's pretty good. Finally, protection 4 on everything. Okay. And not everything has unbreaking. I do have thorns on there, so this is pretty good. I still have my bow and my paxel, and yeah, I think that's pretty good. This paxel actually swings just as fast as a regular sword does, so I don't see it as being a problem. In fact, the only things that I am not doing so well about is that my speed has drastically dropped. And I am thinking these have a lot of durability on them. You can see the hit points on them are actually pretty good. I could feasibly, when going into battle, take this off and put on something like a sash. I'm not sure if I really want to or not. We'll see. And I don't know if this is going to mine any faster than my previous tool. I mean, it does mine really fast. So I don't know if it'll be faster at mining up spawners, so I think that I will wait for magic for that. I just need to have a seed factory built on top now. And I just made a crafter, which I think this requires power. Yes, it does, but I've already demonstrated that I can produce power very simply now with a couple of blocks and a coal generator. So I'm kind of thinking what we need to have is an automatic seed feeder factory going on in here, and I think I've got exactly that already over here with this is my food generation area. In fact, I'm having problems. Oh, I don't have step assist. Oh gosh, that's going to kill me for a bit. But I could grab this and this, and we can take these over into this area and use it to autocraft. As before, we just do a couple of these underneath. I will again need that wrench. But before I do, I think what I'm going to do is have certain things happen with the items, because I'm going to want the wheat, which is the primary output in here, being transformed into something. So let's do double click to edit this recipe. There we go. If I click apply, it'll turn wheat seeds into that. I'm going to try something out here. I think if I have seeds coming out automatically or not. Let's take some of these item pipes up to a certain location. I don't want them doing that. So I think I'm going to have 2 different connections. In fact, let's remove that, and I'll have this connection over here. This way I can have this stuff coming into here being crafted with only the wheat. And then this I can have grabbing just the seeds out of here. Grab one of these wheat seeds, and then I can use that as something to filter by. I want it to whitelist only wheat seeds, and that should do it. And you can see the wheat seeds are empty, and it should go up into here. Yep, good to go. And then this one I'm going to have to change and upgrade as well. By putting this in, I can whitelist wheat only. Let's grab one of those. There we go. So this should only take wheat into here now, and it will automatically craft things once this thing has power. Coal generator underneath, then I can have the pipes going next to that, which then keeps this water from flowing in the wrong direction. I can put a roost in place. Actually, let's have it facing this way so we can see the chicken kind of. Then I can put the cold chicken in here, and again, I just need to dig down so that I can access this and make it actually go in the right direction. And then we have it, coal is already going into the coal generator, which is then instantly feeding this, and this is currently making all sorts of seeds. And it's crafting those things right away. Okay, yep, that's good. And it is currently exiting all the seeds into this location. Perfect. And I don't think that I actually need to filter this because the only thing coming out of it is seeds. And this is coming out as well. So nothing's going in except into here. Okay, looks a little bit janky, but I'm kind of liking this. I now have automatically fed chicken that is going to be breeding up blaze rod chickens, which if I want, I can then turn this on and have start producing more and more fuel. And just to make sure that I don't run out of space, here, let me grab these things here. I'm probably going to get a bigger chest or maybe something with a void option. Maybe trash can. I can hook this up to a trash can. That would be great. I could put these here as well so that I can start filling up more than just this one location. Put this down and I can filter this. Blacklist. I want to whitelist. Chicken, feathers, and the different loot crates, because honestly I could care less. So if I throw something like cobble, it doesn't have a place to grab it. That actually works quite well. I don't mind that at all. So then it's not going to grab anything that it can't pick up, like cobblestone or tools or weapons or things like that in this area. Nice, okay. Oh, mob essence. That was the other thing that I need to have this grab. So let's do that as well. And now when I throw these things down, they just automatically get deleted. There you have it, my chicken-powered creation. It is currently being powered by sacrificing blazing chickens, and I'm really liking this idea. The fact that it also has equipped me with a very proper set of armor. And it's automatically being fed and produced. And I'm just going to leave it to do that for quite some time until those things are all filled up along the side over here. So if you guys enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more like this, please be sure to give a like, comment, subscribe. Don't be afraid to stop by on Twitch. You can also visit our other YouTube channel that we have, Mischief of Mice 2, where we post all of our Twitch VODs over time. They're currently being uploaded on a regular basis. So until next time, folks, I'll see ya.